Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Abby. I'm with Fitness is Medicine, and today I'm going to give you another set of exercises you can do in your home. So we're going to start on the floor with a dumbbell to do some lats. So just one dumbbell, and I think, not super heavy, but maybe like you would do bicep curls with. And then the other thing we're going to need is you can just use that same weight, or you can use a medicine ball. That same weight would be easy to do. And a balloon if you have one, and a playground ball if you've got something like that, or you can also use a pillow to squeeze. We're going to do some knee squeezes. So a playground ball works great for that, or a pillow also works really well, and it's nothing that you're going to ruin by squeezing it between your knees. Okay, I think that is all we need. Oh, and a rolled up towel. So I've got a rolled up towel. We're going to do some exercises on your tummy. So putting this under your forehead will help keep your neck and spine in line and keep you comfortable. Okay, make sure you do a good warm-up before you come into this and come back ready to work. Okay, here we go. We're going to start with a lat pull on your back. So this is another way to work your lats, and I've got this up above my head here for a reason. Now, keep your feet bent. You want to remember, think about flattening your back to the mat before we start. That helps protect your back, engages your abs just a little bit, and gets you prepared for the exercise. Okay, so you can either start with it here or start with this weight back here behind your head. Now, I want your arms straight for this one. So we've done some triceps here where I want your elbows bent, but this one I want your arms straight and we're hinging from the shoulder. So I know it's hard when you bring your arms overhead, but still imagine keeping your shoulders down away from your ears. So bring this here, and we're going to bring it straight overhead, and then slowly back out. Now, if you do have any shoulder pain with this, you can bend your elbows and do it like this, and this will take some of the weight, some of the lever off, but you're still not moving your joint at your elbows. So remember, if you do have any shoulder pain with this, or you've picked a weight that's too heavy, you can pause and go get another weight that's not so heavy. Sometimes it's hard to know what to pick with these different types of exercises. Remember, you're flattening your back to that mat, really protecting your back. Slowly lower it back to the floor. Don't quite touch it down though. That's a little bit of a rest. We want to keep those muscles engaged through the whole time. Remember, you can keep those elbows bent, take a little bit of that lever off if you're having any shoulder pain, but still my elbow joint is not moving. So we're going to do 10 of these. If you feel like you're arching back here, you have too much weight. So go grab a smaller weight. All right, that's at least 10. All right, good. So you can set that down off to the side. Now we're going to stand up. You can use that same weight. I'm just going to use a medicine ball because I have them. And it's fun to use different tools if you have them. Let's see, where's my big one? Here it is. So I'm just going to grab this ball and hold it at my chest. Actually, I'm going to use this other one. It's the same weight, it's just a little smaller. Okay. So we're going to do some side stepping squats. So moving across the room, doing some squats. So just holding this at your chest for a little extra weight, a little different hold, giving your arms a little more work. Like I said, you can use that dumbbell we just used or use a different type of dumbbell. Squat down, and we're just holding this at your chest. So side step squats. So this one, both of your knees are bending. So this isn't like the side lunge we did the other day. Both knees are sitting back into that squat. You're sitting straight back like you're going to sit down into a chair. So remember to sit back into your heels. Keep your chest tall. I don't want you to sit back and lean forward like this. You're getting more of a back exercise than a leg exercise. So really squat down, sticking your hips back like you're going to sit into a chair. We'll go back and forth a few times. If you've got you don't need a lot of space for this because you can just go back and forth, or you can go down your hallway and back. The goal is to get about 10 each direction. Regardless, if you're getting really tired, you can obviously listen to your body and know when to stop. Okay, now we're going to lower back down to the floor. And do some Y holds. So I'm going to use this towel. Make sure that I'm here in the screen. You're going to put your head on this towel, your forehead, so that you can keep your head in line. I don't want you doing them with your head off to the side because it puts your neck in a weird position. I want your head in line with the rest of your spine, your cervical spine in line. I don't want it cropped off to the side. So put your forehead on that rolled up towel, and I want your arms out into a Y position. So thumbs up towards the ceiling, and all you're going to do is pick your arms up off the floor just a little bit and then release. So the goal is to hold it for about 5 seconds and then release. If this hurts, so notice that my shoulders are down away from my ears. I'm not up here. Nice, a good wide Y. You're leaving your feet on the floor. You're not picking up your feet as well because that puts pressure on your low back. If this does hurt your low back, or if you have shoulder pain with it, bring it down here. Bend your elbows, and then just squeeze your shoulder blades. Pick up your hands off the floor. You can think of it more as a W instead. But if you are able to do that Y, you're working your back here. This is a really good posterior chain exercise, good shoulder stabilizer, and you're actually engaging your core as well. Good. So start small with this one. If this one feels like a lot, as long as you're not having any pain, maybe start with 5, depending on how you're feeling with it. So as you notice, we're focusing on your back a little today. I don't know how many I've done. I think I've done about 10. I think this is 9. Nice and slow. And you don't have to take your arms very high up off the floor. I'm just off like an inch or so. Remember, keep your thumbs up towards the ceiling and just barely pick those arms up off the floor. Okay, great. Those are the Y holds on your tummy. Now we're going to stay down here on the floor and do some fire hydrants. So up on your hands and knees, and we're going to do a hip stabilizer. So on those hands and knees, your hands directly below your shoulders, your knees directly below your hips, and you're going to lift one knee out to the side. Fire hydrants. Makes sense, right? So the key here is to keep your back flat. Imagine keeping a full teacup on your back. So I don't want you to lift it over to the side like this. Your tea would be falling all over the place. So nice and flat, not a very large movement. Notice I'm getting out to about here, and that's all the further I can go unless I really hike. And I don't need to hike. I'm just isolating those glutes. So we're going to do about 10 on each side. 8, 9, 10. Good. Rest if you need to. If you need to sit back in child's pose in between, that's okay. Now we're going to switch and do the other side. Just lifting out to the side, keeping your back nice and flat. Remember, you don't want to lift so high that you're all of a sudden having to hike up like that. Keep your head in line with the rest of your spine. Don't let it drop here or look up like this. You want to keep everything in a proper alignment. Keeping your neck happy. 2 more. Good. All right. Now we're going to sit on a chair or a ball, whatever you have handy. I'm going to sit on my ball just because I can be closer to the camera here. And we're going to do some knee squeezes. So we just did the outer part of our hips or glutes. And now we're going to sit here. Bring that up just a little. You can sit in a chair for some good stability, or you can sit on a ball if you have one. Put that ball or pillow, whatever you have, in between your knees. Keep your feet about shoulder width apart, and you're just gonna squeeze that ball or pillow. If you don't have either of those two handy, you can use that towel you just used to squeeze. Now the goal is to hold it for a count of 3, 4, 5 seconds and then release. So this is working your adductors, your inner thighs, and it works a lot of your pelvic stabilizers as well. So we're going to do this about 10 times. I like to work these hips together to really focus on all of that pelvic stability. And one more good one. All right, good. Okay, now we're going to stand up and do balance. Grab that balloon if you have one. And I'm going to move my camera up a little bit here. Get rid of my ball. Remember, you want to have a clear space when you're doing these balance exercises, if it'll stay there. Okay, I'm going to bring that up just a little more. So if you do have a balloon, this is a great way to get a good balance exercise in, but it's also fun. So if you're exercising with a partner, you can tap it back and forth to each other, or just tap it to yourself if you're doing this by yourself. So you can start in a tandem stance. If you're able, let's try it in a single leg stance. So just bouncing it back and forth. I'm going to move my fan out of the way here. Pop it back and forth between your hands. Keep it up in the air. It's much more challenging. Again, we're changing your proprioception, so we're changing the way you're looking with your eyes. Trying to follow that balloon. You have to reach a little bit, especially if you're with a partner. This is going to be really challenging. Again, if you need to, try it in a tandem stance. And if the tandem stance is too much, do a little bit of a staggered stance. Sometimes this is all you need. Sometimes you just having your feet hip width apart and having to reach, especially if you're playing with a friend, all the reaching and having to shift your weight, that's a really good way to start if this is super challenging for you. So do about 30 seconds on one foot, or with one foot in front, and then switch. Like I said, this is really fun with a partner. But if you want to, you can stand against a wall and tap it back and forth to yourself at the wall, or you can just stand and try to keep it up in the air. Challenge yourself though, don't just put it here. Challenge yourself, bop it up, reach. If you need to, restart. Good. So remember, if this feels super challenging to try, you can try it seated. I actually do this with a couple of my clients seated. And then standing is another good way to move forward from there. If that feels okay, try it with a staggered stance, then tandem, and then single leg. So those are really good, good progression for you to try to make. All right, next we're going to end with a pike hold on the floor. So if you have a Bosu, this is a good one to do on your Bosu. I'm just going to do it on the floor. I don't have my Bosu here. It's at my gym. So we're going to just sit up nice and tall, put your arms forward, and pick up your feet off the floor. That's all we're trying to do. If you need to, you can put your hands back and try to keep your feet up off the floor. So the goal is to work on this for about 30 seconds. If you have a balance disc, you can try sitting on the balance disc. If you're having any, keep working on this. If you're doing this at home, I'm just showing you different methods. If you are having trouble with your low back hurting, if you're doing this on the floor, try shoving a little towel in there for a little support in your sacrum there, or a little ball. Trying to hold it here. If you can, hold your legs out straight. That's much harder. I can do it better actually on a Bosu. Now, like I said, if this is really hard, you can put your feet back and hold your feet back like this. The other way to do it, if this is just really unreasonable, is lift one foot and then lift the other foot. So you can slowly alternate here, keeping those abs engaged. And then the more bent your knees are, the easier this will be as well. So you can use those hands for support back here if you need to, especially if you're on a BOSU and you feel like you're wobbling. Here's your goal. Well, here's your goal. My hip flexors are really tight right now, so that's really hard for me. This also gets your hip flexors. Here, here, alternating. Okay? All right, give that a shot. Work on that for about 30 seconds and then start all over again. Please let me know if you have any questions or if you need any alterations to any of these. I'm happy to give you suggestions to change these up to make them less painful or more intense if you need that too. So take care, everybody, and I will see you next time. Keep moving.